All right, let's talk about something huge. A 90-day sprint to transform your company into an AI-first operation. Because, let's be real, in today's world, if you don't have a plan like this, you're not just falling behind. You're basically on the road to becoming obsolete. So let's dive right in.
And yeah, the choice really is that stark. For any small to mid-sized business, there's this thing we call the manual grind. It's like a hidden tax that just completely suffocates your ability to scale. Your competitors, they're way past just using AI for emails. They're using it to completely rebuild their businesses from the ground up. So you have to ask yourself, which side of that line are you going to be on?
So let's get to the heart of it. What's the real problem we're trying to solve here? Well, it all comes down to the operational drag that keeps so many businesses trapped in this endless cycle of boring, low-value tasks.
We call it the manual grind, and it really is like a hidden tax on your business. All those repetitive, error-prone tasks that just eat up time. Think about it. In finance, for example, someone manually matching up invoices, that can take hours, and it's just begging for mistakes. And these little things, they add up, they compound, until they become huge roadblocks that stop you from growing.
And this is the domino effect, right? It all starts with something that seems minor, like manual data entry. But that leads to way more errors. And those errors, they cause delays in making critical decisions. And before you know it, your costs are bloated, and your profits are getting chewed up. It's a really vicious cycle. So we've got to completely reframe how we think about this. AI is not just another app you install on your computer. It's a strategic catalyst. The whole point isn't to replace your team, it's to supercharge them, to get them out of the weeds so they can focus on the big picture, high-stakes work that actually moves the needle.
Okay, so a transformation this big can feel, well, overwhelming. How do you even start? Don't worry, we've broken it all down into a super manageable 90-day execution plan.
So here's the roadmap from 30,000 feet. It's 3 distinct phases. Month 1 is all about laying a solid foundation. Month 2 is where we get some quick wins on the board and start learning. And that final month, that's all about scaling up and, just as important, making sure we do it the right way.
All right, so let's dig into phase 1. Days 1 to 30 are all about that foundation. You've got to figure out your purpose of use. Basically, identify the low-hanging fruit. Where are the workflows just crying out for automation? Maybe it's something called robotic process automation, or RPA, which is just a fancy way of saying use software bots to handle all those tedious tasks in your finance department. Or, if you're in manufacturing, it could be predictive maintenance.
Now, a huge part of that foundation is the cloud. You just can't do AI well without it. Think of it as the digital backbone for your whole operation. It's got to be scalable and flexible enough to handle massive amounts of data. And fast. Whether you go with a public, private, or hybrid cloud really just depends on your specific needs for security and control. But the main idea is the same. You absolutely have to have that infrastructure in place first.
Okay, phase 2. This is where the fun starts. Days 31 to 60 are all about getting momentum with some quick wins. You could start integrating tools like Microsoft Copilot to automate tasks right inside the software you already use. Or you could roll out chatbots to give your customers amazing 24/7 support. But here's the secret sauce. You have to build in feedback loops. This is how the AI learns from every single interaction and just keeps getting smarter.
And now for the home stretch. Phase 3. This is where you scale everything up, but also get serious about governance. Now you can really lean into predictive analytics, using your data to see around corners, forecast market trends, and make your supply chain way more efficient. But, and this is a big but, you have to establish responsible AI guidelines. That means doing regular audits for security and bias to make absolutely sure your systems are fair, safe, and secure.
So you've got the plan, which is great, but what tools do you actually use to pull this off? Let's take a look at a strategic stack you can put together right now.
So think of this as your AI toolkit. For pure productivity, you've got tools like Notion AI for creating content and Motion AI for optimizing team schedules. For communications, Otter.ai is a game changer for transcribing meetings in real time. Then for operations, something like Zapier is an absolute powerhouse. It connects all your apps and automates workflows between them. And of course, for marketing, tools like Jasper or Copy.ai can crank out amazing marketing copy in just a few seconds.
All right, let's talk about the dark side. This whole transformation is incredibly high stakes, and believe me, the mistakes can be really, really costly. It is absolutely critical that you know what the pitfalls are before you even take the first step.
Pitfall number 1 is a big one, algorithmic bias. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem.
If the data you're using to train your AI is flawed or reflects old biases, well, the AI is just going to learn and amplify those biases. And this gets really dangerous in areas like hiring, where a biased algorithm could end up illegally discriminating against perfectly qualified people. Next, let's talk security gaps. There's this super important concept you need to understand when you're using the cloud. It's called the shared responsibility model. Basically, think of it like renting a super secure apartment. The landlord is responsible for the security of the building, the locks on the main door, the alarms. But you are responsible for locking your own apartment door and not leaving your valuables out on the counter. Same principle.
And this quote really nails it. The cloud provider secures the cloud infrastructure itself, but the user, and that means you, is responsible for securing everything inside the cloud. We're talking your data, your apps, who has access to what, all of that is on you.
Third, and this is so important, you cannot forget the human element. The minute you start talking about automation, people naturally start getting anxious about their jobs. You have to get out in front of this. Talk to your team. Be transparent about what you're doing. Focus on training and upskilling. And make it crystal clear that AI is a tool to make their jobs better, not to get rid of them.
And finally, watch out for something called shadow AI. This is what happens when your employees start using their own unapproved AI tools to get work done, usually free ones they found online. The problem is, if they start feeding sensitive company data into these unvetted tools, you're looking at a massive security and privacy nightmare. It could even put you in violation of major regulations like GDPR.
So you've gone through the plan, you've navigated the pitfalls. What's the reward at the end of all this? It really boils down to 3 huge strategic advantages.
This is what you're fighting for. First, automation. You streamline all the boring stuff to give your team back its most valuable resource, time. Second, personalization. You use AI to really understand your customers and create experiences that are made just for them. And third, intelligence. You use predictive analytics to stop reacting to the market and start shaping it. That's the real competitive edge.
Look, the roadmap is right here. The tools are out there and ready to go. And honestly, the stakes have never been higher. So there's really only one question left to ask. Your 90 days start right now. What are you going to build?